Meet Mr. and Mrs. B. Mr. B is a retired colonel in the Army, and he served in Vietnam. Mr. B is also a published poet, and he has a 40,000-word memoir awaiting submission for publication. Mr. and Mrs. B have been married 53 years, and Mr. B has had Parkinson's disease for 15. And we have a weekly date to dance together. I am a dance movement therapist who works with veterans using telehealth. Dance movement therapy using telehealth, you may ask? Yep, we issue an iPad or use a home computer and use a live video connection, and we invite veterans into dance movement therapy sessions together. We meet first face-to-face for 2 hours and get to know each other, and then we schedule a weekly session for dance movement therapy. The veteran connects to that session from their living room or wherever they have the best internet connection, and room for space, privacy, and movement. You see, about a year ago, I got a call from my director at the University of Florida Center for Arts and Medicine. Jenny, good news! We are starting a creative arts therapy program at the VA Medical Center. Active service members, veterans, these were all new to me. How do I best participate in the care for our veterans? What does it look like to serve individuals who have devoted their lives to service at an incredibly high cost? And then I thought, where better than with our service members to provide a sense of freedom of expression through movement? And then I got the rest of the news. We'll deliver creative arts therapy using telehealth. Well, now, more than a year later, I am a member of a team of Rural Veterans Telerehabilitation Initiative. We call it RVTRI. And our team provides physical, occupational, recreational, and creative arts therapies, along with medical, nursing, and counseling service for veterans. The veterans that we serve have daily challenges with pain, balance, post-traumatic stress, a traumatic brain injury, a sleep interruption, or a movement disorder. And most of our veterans live in rural communities up to 4 hours away, so they are motivated to try telehealth, even if they would prefer working with a provider face-to-face. While telehealth is brand new to me as a dance movement therapist, the Malcolm Randall VA Medical Center in Gainesville, Florida, is among those leading the way. 600,000 veterans accessed VA care, totaling more than 1.7 million interactions of care in 2013. And this is growing at a rate of about 22% per year. In my department, 2,000 positive physical therapy encounters took place, and that's not to mention occupational, recreational, or creative arts therapies. Specific to mental health care, while telehealth certainly presents its challenges, we have noticed the stigma associated with asking for help is diminished. And we are in step with the VA nationwide and the Department of Defense, who are launching mobile apps. Active service members can self-manage behavior, stress, and even receive therapy for post-traumatic stress. On the Department of Defense website, active military kids can stay connected to one another and connected to deployed parents. In the present age, telehealth just makes sense. What exactly does dance movement therapy look like with veterans using telehealth, you may wonder? Well, I use 4 key ingredients in any given session. It begins with an invitation. I invite veterans to share how they are physically, and we also consider how they are spiritually and emotionally. We begin checking in around pain levels, perhaps, or issues with balance. And then we check in across multidimensional well-being. We educate veterans to think more broadly about their well-being, and we invite them during our assessment to draw a wellness wheel. And we ask, which aspects of your well-being are up and running? Which ones are down for the count? Is there any aspect of your well-being that wishes to speak? And if so, what might it say? We then move into expression. We dance together using music. We may mirror each other, and we often have full body warm-up, head to toe. We may create a movement phrase, stringing gestures and postures together. And then to process that movement, we make art or we write. To close the session, I invite veterans to offer me 6 words of reflection. And veterans say things like, it was welcoming, energizing, relaxing, connections, new ideas, growing, learning, resolution, peace. Now, I know it works because the veterans call back the next week at our regularly scheduled time, and we dance together again. The onus is on the veterans to place that call and make that connection. And when technology fails, they call on the landline and they ask to troubleshoot together or offer those 6 words of reflection. So what makes dance movement therapy a useful and meaningful intervention for our veterans? Well, Mr. B in our session this week asked me to be sure to share that when dancing, it is impossible to remain grouchy. And I'll return to my own experience. My home base is expressing emotion. I live for the intersection of movement and words, preferably verbs, and I love creative expression. I never cease to be amazed at the instant connection and community created when human beings dance together. And movement and words, these 2 actions, are necessarily refined in service to the military. Movement habits and speech patterns can be difficult to adjust when returning to civilian life. Dance movement therapy can help. I have practiced dance movement therapy with individuals, with and without their loved ones, in hospital beds, homes, schools, even in communities. In each moment, I see dance remind the dancer of the parts of themselves that are whole. The field of dance movement therapy is thriving first due to the devotion to the craft of dance itself. True to the spirit of dance, the bones of it, there is power in exercising expression of freedom and movement in our bodies. Dance movement therapists offer the therapeutic lens of seeing and being seen, witnessing and being witnessed. I invite veterans and their families into that frame, and to my delight, they have invited me into their frames, into their families, their homes, and their lives.